Hey, it's me, MLB. This is chapter 85 of Touched. This one is titled Audits and Visits. You stand right where witnesses, Brian muttered as he stared Miranda down through the window while slowly sipping his tea very loudly. Miranda stood there seething on the side of the road, her narrowed eyes locking onto Brian. I dare her to come over here, Brian said lowly. Miranda turned and took a step towards the shop, and Brian put his tea down. Boo-boo, watch my baby, please, Brian said sternly to Jasmine as he made his way to the door with his hair still covered in the lightning product, purple plastic cape billowing out behind him as he sashayed angrily to the salon door. Oh no, Jasmine gasped as she put her tea down and jumped after Brian. Honey, please, she begged as she tried to grab for him under the cape. Let me go, I'm about to sit her ass in the curb, Brian hollered. Miranda was close enough to have heard Brian and she yelled back at him. Come on, you coward, she goaded. No, stop, she's baiting you, Jasmine wailed. Unconscious people can't talk, Brian yelled as he yanked the salon door open and made to step outside. Just then a car pulled up outside Miranda's shop and a man hopped out. Excuse me, Miranda, the man called. Miranda spun around at hearing her name. What? She snapped at the guy who produced a clipboard. Hello, I'm from the council, here to do a business audit, he said as he pushed his glasses up on his nose a little. Do you mind if I head into your shop? Miranda was gobsmacked. Audit? Who ordered an audit on my shop? It was this man, wasn't it? She yelled, turning back and pointing at Brian. No, ma'am, this is a routine check. Your shop hasn't been audited since it was opened 7 years ago, he said calmly. Now, if you don't mind. Miranda grumbled something under her breath, and with an embarrassed blush on her cheek, she sauntered back to her shop to let him in. Brian was still seething at the front door of Jasmine's salon, annoyed that he didn't get to throw hands. Pooh Bear, come with me, it's fine, let it be, Jasmine said soothingly in her deep voice, as she gently turned Brian around and walked him back into the salon to sit down, where the timer was ringing urgently on the bench to signal that time was up for the product to be in his hair. Positivity, love and light, Brian whispered softly as he held his hands in namaste, inhaling deeply. Norman let out a little yip from his place in the tote bag, and Brian leaned down to pat him gently on the head. Amen, baby, amen, he said to his pup. Later that evening, Hawk strolled into the house and chirped loudly. You and Hiyoko were in Hiyoko's room, playing on his mat when you heard Hawk's call out. Hiyoko squeaked in greeting and tried to swivel his head around to see where his daddy was, and beamed brightly when Hawks entered through the doorway, the little bub vibrating his wings excitedly once he saw his winged father. I love when he does that, you chuckled to Hawks, as your hero hubby walked in and crouched down to where you were sitting on the mat and kissed you passionately on the lips. Why can't I get enough of these lips? He asked slowly, as he took your chin in hand and kissed you a few more times. Daddy, not in front of Hiyoko, you giggled, as he got more and more heated. Hiyoko chirped excitedly from beside you, demanding attention from his dad. Hey, Nugget, Hawk said brightly to his little boy lying on the mat. Look at your wings, he added when he pulled his head back a bit to get all of Hiyoko in his vision. You're growing so fast. I should take him to see Mum again, you said suddenly. She hasn't seen him since he was a newborn. He's almost 4 months old now. How about you take him tomorrow? I have some paperwork to do, and then I'll drop it off at the police commissioner's office. But I can come with you for a bit. Then I'll get the paperwork done, Hawks offered. Oh, she'd love to see you again too, you said with a smile. Awesome, it's a date, Hawk said as he picked Yoko up and tossed him gently into the air before catching him again and rubbing his nose against his. The next day, you, Hawks, in his hero costume, and Hiyoko arrived at the front of the mental respite building. I wonder if Ray is there. I can show Yoko to her too, he said with a smile at Hawks, who had his little baby in arms. Dunno, he replied, but I'm sure she'd love to see him. You made your way into the building and up to your mum's room. Mum? You asked as you pushed her door open. Yin, she said excitedly, and Hawks, and my little boy, hello, gorgeous, she gushed as she reached out and took Hiyoko from Hawks's arms. Oh, you've grown, she said excitedly, and look at those wings. He'd better get used to the comments about his wings, Hawks said with a chuckle. It's his most defining feature. But don't forget those beautiful hazel green eyes, your mum said, with loving awe as she gazed into them, mesmerised by their colour. Mum, make a little chirping noise, you encouraged softly, and she held him out and made this little beep, 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 beep noise. Hiyoko gave her a beautiful big gummy smile and vibrated his wings in response. Oh, she giggled as she pulled him back into herself and snuggled him. You're too cute. You grinned and looked at Hawks, who smiled down at you and pulled you into his side. Told you we make beautiful babies, he whispered to you. Oh, hello, Yin. And Hawks, a voice said from behind you and Hawks, and you looked to see who it was. Ray, you gasped excitedly. I'm so glad you're here. We bought Hyoko. Oh, please let me see him, she said excitedly as she entered the room. Oh, isn't he precious? He's simply perfect, your mum gushed as Ray approached her. The two mums gushed over Hyoko, and he lapped up all the attention, smiling and blowing bubbles randomly. You told Ray about the chirping thing and she did it, which Hyoko replied, much to her amusement. You were all enjoying a chat when Hawks's phone rang and he excused himself to answer it. When he came back in, he pulled an apologetic face. Sorry to break up the happy moment, but I got to get some paperwork to the police commissioner, and he's at the jail, which is close to here, so I need to leave now. I need to get going as well, Mum, because I've got Yoko. He's due for a nap soon, he said sadly. We'll come again soon, though, he added with a smile. Oh, okay, don't leave it too long. I want to see my little boy again soon, your mum said sadly as she handed Hyoko over to you. We can come again next week, you said as you took your little boy in arms and made tracks to leave. It was only a short flight to the jail, and Hawks touched down gently at the front, letting you and Hyoko off. Want to stay here or come in? He asked. I'll come in. I think I'll feel a bit weird standing out here with a baby in my arms, he replied sheepishly. Fair enough, he chuckled. You both entered and headed for the police commissioner's office. This place is creepy, you whispered to Hawks. Nah, I've been in worse, he replied calmly as he strolled beside you. You're safe with me, baby girl. And there ends chapter 85. Stay tuned for chapter 86.